Hey guys, happy Wednesday. My name is Lauren Wandell, aka TheFitLaw. I've been talking a lot about the container system, and I'm really excited because our group is kicking off this coming Monday. We started prep this week, and the reason prep is so important, and if you watched my video on Sunday, you understand that prepping can set you up for a week of success. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how having the right things in your house can make lunchtime easier. So obviously, I work from home. My son is at school right now, so I'm going to show you just like a typical lunch. I actually cook a lot more than some people do just because I enjoy cooking. Obviously, the culinary background in me likes to cook. So I make a lot of the stuff that I'm eating for lunch to order, I guess, or to, you could make some of this ahead of time, but for me, it's easier to kind of whip it up because I like to eat it fresh and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you what I'm having for lunch today. If you notice on the title of my live broadcast today, I have a couple different little colored hearts. And the reason is because when you're using this container system, you count in colors, not in calories. And you don't weigh your food, you measure it in these containers. So all of those little hearts represent a container. And I'll go through and tell you a little bit more about that. So we're going to start with... We're actually going to start with our orange container first because of our dressing. So with the 21 Day Fix, there are approved dressings in the back of the book. But for me, I have kind of come up with a couple of my own that I really, really enjoy. So we're going to start by making our dressing. Now this is going to make more than one serving. The serving or the orange container is pretty small, but this is for dressings and seeds. So I use this for salad dressing, and then if I'm not eating a salad that day, I'll use it for like pumpkin seeds. I have some shelled pumpkin seeds that I bought that I love to do that as a snack also. But this is kind of my go-to balsamic recipe because balsamic is my favorite. So this is my go-to recipe that I use. So obviously you need a whisk and a bowl, and I'm just going to show you what I have. So this is balsamic vinegar. This is a black cherry balsamic that I got at a local place called Old World Olive Company. I know somebody's going to ask, I'm not sure if they order online. I got this at a local store. This is local to me, but go find a good quality olive oil store that sells vinegar too, and they have some flavored ones that are really good quality, and they kind of spice up that vinaigrette a little bit because I know that it can get boring. So this is a black cherry vinaigrette. Now when you're making a vinaigrette, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. And I'm sure you've heard this on cooking shows before and you don't know what that means. 2-to-1 ratio just means that I'm going to do I'm going to put 2 parts olive oil, so double the amount of olive oil that I do to vinegar. So it's 2-to-1, okay? So I'm going to start with the vinegar first. And I'm going to make a little bit of extra so I have some left over for tomorrow. This is really good. Like at the store, they give it to you and they have these little cups out, and it's such a good flavor that you literally can just shoot the different kinds of vinegars and taste them, which is kind of cool. So the other things I put in my vinegars are Dijon mustard. On the 21 Day Fix or with the Fixate containers, mustard is a free food. So they're foods that you can eat for free that don't count as containers, and mustard is one of them. So I use it for a lot of different cooking things. I love to put this on chicken too. So I'm going to put about just a little bit, maybe like a teaspoon of Dijon in there. It's just for flavor because it is really, really strong. And I'm going to start putting stuff away because I'm all about cleaning it as you go. The next thing I'm going to do is I have raw wild natural honey. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of this as well. Again, this is just to sweeten it. You probably actually don't need it with some of these flavored vinegars, but I'm going to do about a half a teaspoon, I think. But honey is a great alternative to white table sugar. White table sugar gives you that spike in your blood sugar. Raw honey and agave and coconut sugar and maple syrup and stuff like that are not going to give you that spike, so they're a lot more healthy, okay? So these are way healthier options for sweetening. So we're going to do honey, and then I'm actually going to whisk this together a little bit, and then I'm going to put some seasoning in it. So that was just the balsamic, and I spilled a little bit on the counter. So that was just the balsamic, the mustard, and the honey. Now for seasoning, I'm going to keep it really, really, really simple. I'm going to do a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then the other thing I love to put in this is thyme. So if you have dried thyme, it's always at the front of my spice cabinet. I have organic dried thyme, and I'm just going to put a pinch of this. With dried spices, what you're going to want to do is put it in the palm of your hand and just rub it together. And all that's going to do is it's going to break out the essential oils that are in there, and it's going to make it a little bit more fragrant and a little bit more flavorful. So just kind of rub them between the palms of your hands. You know, you don't have to do anything crazy. a little bit of salt, not a ton, and then black pepper. Now I'm going to whisk this with a whisk. I have one that I love. I don't know what these are called, but it's just a whisk that I use for vinaigrettes. It's awesome. But you could also put this in a mason jar. If you don't know how to do the emulsion like this, you could literally pour all of the ingredients in a mason jar and just shake it up as well. So then I just have extra virgin olive oil. You can use other kinds that you want. I have honestly this bottle from Trader Joe's that I just continue to fill up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pour. So if you're not good with measuring, the balsamic would be 1/4 of a cup and then the olive oil would be 1/2 of a cup because it's double, right? So 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm just going to slowly pour this in. While I'm pouring, I'm going to whisk. And this is also a really good marinade too. So if you wanted to make a bunch of this, use half of it for salad dressing, pour the other on some chicken, and you can use that for a marinade on your chicken. And grilling these is amazing. Okay. So what's going to happen is it's going to start to get a little thick. Now, if you put too much oil in it, what's going to happen is it will break and you're going to get that separation. And sometimes when you put it in the fridge too, actually pretty much every time you put it in the fridge, it will separate. It's okay, especially if you have it like in a mason jar, just shake it up before you use it. It's totally fine. Okay, and then it's a little bit thicker. You see how much thicker it got? So that is my dressing. It's really, really simple, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start building my salad. I'm gonna show you guys one more thing. Now, like I've said in some of my other live feeds, I keep all of my leftovers in these glass containers. Now in this one, it was from that prep video that I did. This is what we have left over. It's Wednesday and I'm about to be out. So this is chicken and potatoes. So I'm gonna use both of these. I'm gonna use the potatoes for my carb and I am gonna eat them cold. If you wanna heat them up, you totally, absolutely can. I'm just gonna fill up my yellow container with these because I don't mind these cold at all. They're really, really good already. So I just don't mind them cold at all. So I'm gonna pour these on top, almost as like a garnish, I guess, because it's not a ton of them, but I definitely need some carbs because I did a really hard workout this morning. And now what I'm going to do with my leftover chicken, this is something that I love to do. I don't like just cutting up chicken breasts and using it, honestly. I just think it's boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in my KitchenAid mixer. If you have a mixer, this is the best way to shred chicken. Just a little tip for you. Get your paddle attachment, stick it on there, throw your chicken in. It can be right out of the oven or it can be left over in the fridge and blend it up and it'll shred it for you. So I'm going to do that while I show you how I assemble the rest of my salad. Okay, so I just have that on low. Just make sure that your KitchenAid is locked or it will kind of boom, 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 because it's a lot obviously harder than like a cookie dough or something. So I'm gonna stick this back in the fridge. All right, so let's start to assemble now that we have some of this stuff. So I'm gonna do this on a plate just so I can show you guys better. I have spinach. What I have, honestly, I actually haven't washed this and I'm not gonna. I trust Trader Joe's. I know, sue me. I usually have washed spinach in the fridge, but I don't have any right now. So this is my green container. Green container is for vegetables. So I'm actually gonna do a couple different kinds of vegetables. So I'm gonna start with spinach as my base. And what's great about these containers is they look small, but you can fit a ton of food. I mean, like way more than you think. And I'll show you the amount when I'm done. Like when I pour this out on the plate, you're gonna be a little bit surprised. So I'm gonna be doing spinach because I love spinach. You can use other greens if you want, but spinach is definitely my go-to. I'm not a huge romaine fan. I freaking hate kale. It's disgusting. So I choose to not use those. I use spinach. Okay, so now as you can see, I still have room left in here, and you can totally mix and match and do different vegetables in here too. So I'm gonna do some carrots. I have organic shredded carrots that I got from Trader Joe's. The other way I do this is I actually will just peel off pieces of food also. Like peel off pieces, like big, with a potato peeler, pieces of carrots as well. So I'm just gonna kind of shove these in here. The rule is, as long as the lid can fit, it's totally fine. And with vegetables, I'm definitely not as stingy because let's see, there is 35 calories per 3 ounces of this. 35 calories. So I'm not worried about overeating carrots. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put some sun-dried tomatoes on these as well. Again, no sugar added, these are all natural. I'm just gonna do a couple, and I'm actually just gonna sprinkle them on top as a garnish. But I'm gonna pour this out on my plate as the base. Come on. We'll I'm just doing some of this with my hands. Okay, so there's my vegetables. I'm gonna put a couple of these tomatoes on top. I love sun-dried tomatoes. Another thing I do if I'm using fresh tomatoes is I'll actually marinate them in the dressing. So I'll stick them in the dressing before I stick it on, because then they almost are like these little flavor bites when you get them on your salad, right? So they like kind of explode with balsamic flavor, and they're really, really good. You can do that with like any kind of like fruit that you're doing too. Sometimes I'll marinate it as well. Okay, so we have our vegetables done. I'm gonna stick my potatoes on top. So this would be my carb container. Potatoes, peas, corn, starchy vegetables are in here as well. So corn does not count as a green container, unfortunately, but this is gonna be, you can also have like waffles and pancakes, just any kind of carb that's on that list. So I'm gonna put these on here as well. Okay, so that is my green and my yellow. All right, done. Now we're gonna add our protein. So protein for this is anything from Shakeology. It's also chicken, beef, pork, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. There's somebody really put this on here. There's tons of different options. And that's what's great about this, is it's really versatile. So as you guys can see, I'm really building this just from stuff that was in my fridge already, right? So it's not like anything huge. I just make some stuff, like some proteins and stuff like that, and have some vegetables on hand, and it's really easy for me to throw together. Okay. So as you can see, I shredded that chicken. That was in full chicken breast form. I shredded that in like really no time at all. And now if you wanted to, there's also a really great chicken salad recipe that uses Greek yogurt as the base instead of mayonnaise, and it's awesome. So what I'm gonna do too is just, I filled my red container, right, which is my protein, and I'm gonna stick that on here. I'm kind of spilling this a little bit. Eat a piece of that. And then the rest of this will just go in a container, and I'll put it for profit. Now, blue. Actually, I forgot to put an orange on my little thing, so I'll change that later. Blue is gonna be healthy fats. So I don't eat cheese. Paleo. So what I'm gonna do is use this with 2 different kinds of nuts. So again, just like I did with the green container where I'm taking half and half, I'm gonna do half of this with slivered almonds, and I'm gonna do half of it with pine nuts that I've already toasted. I keep a jar of toasted pine nuts in my pantry at all times. They're my favorite kind of nut. I literally will eat them on anything. I love them on like zoodles too, like zoodle pasta. That's like one of my favorites, is like a pesto with pine nuts and stuff like that. So good. Okay. So I filled maybe a little bit more than half of that with pine nuts. And then I'm gonna fill the rest with these slivered almonds. So the other things you can use in your blue container is avocado, cheese, different kinds of cheeses. So if you want like pepper jack, if you like spicy stuff, you can use that, mozzarella, Parmesan, and it's a lot more than you think. Like if you see the amount of nuts that just went on here, like it's a lot. So I know it looks small, but it's more than you think. And some people will keep cheese actually in it during the day in their fridge, and then they just sprinkle a little bit on top, because you really don't need a ton, right? You just want the flavor. All right. So that is how simple that was, guys. I just made that entire salad. Obviously, I took a little bit longer because I was showing you guys, but I just made that entire salad in just a few minutes with stuff that I already had in my fridge. Now, all I do for the dressing is I just fill this container, and I'm actually gonna use a spoon because I am notorious for just spilling stuff everywhere. So I'm gonna use a spoon and fill this container up. And again, you don't have to use the whole dressing thing. If you're not big on dressing, you can use half of this for dressing and half of it for seeds. And when you get your program, you actually will get 2 of these containers, and they do that specifically so if you want half and half, you can do that as well. So there's my dressing, and I'm just gonna pour that over the top of this. And I am good to go, guys. It was as easy as that. So that is gonna be your finished product. You can switch this out for anything else. So if you don't like chicken, you want to do steak, you can switch it out for steak. If you don't like spinach, you want to do kale, you can switch that green container out for kale. This program is so versatile and is so easy to fit in your life. It's something that I've done with my family. My husband can eat this way, my kids can eat this way, everybody can do this. It's really, really simple. It's one of those learning curve things that once you get it down, it becomes so just ingrained in your head and so easy. So I hope you guys got a little bit of information out of this. If you're interested in learning more about a fitness program that comes with the container system, because it is about diet and exercise, please send me a message or comment with an I'm interested. I would love to get you involved. My Hungry Bitch Challenge group started on Monday. We're actually going through a whole week of prep this week, and then we start our exercises and our actual diet on Monday. So I'm really excited to get this done because, you know, that's a big salad, I gotta say. So I'm really excited to get going with these women. If you like my live feeds and you want to subscribe to them, please click the subscribe button on my page. You can also follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all of the above. I'm everywhere, so go ahead and find me and let's be friends. Again, my name is Lauren Wandel, aka TheFitLaw. Have a great day, guys. Don't go hungry because you don't need to. All right, bye.